Hello and welcome to Ames in Focus, the podcast where we check out the people and programs that keep Ames turning pages of progress. I'm Bill Gebhart with the City of Ames, and today's episode is stacked like your favorite library shelf. A little inspiration, some good stories, and even a twist ending, especially if you make it to the book sale. But before we dig into volunteering and all things Dewey Decimal, a quick reminder of a few things happening in Ames. First, join us this Thursday, April 9th at 4 p.m. for the Resource Recovery and Recycling Campus groundbreaking at the R3C site on Friel Drive. The City of Ames is entering a new era of waste management with the Resource Recovery and Recycling Center, phasing out the long-standing energy-to-waste system. It's a big step forward with a targeted opening in July of 2027. Then, on Saturday, April 18th, Story County residents can take advantage of a no-charge yard waste drop-off day at a new location, 309 Carnegie Avenue, that runs from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and includes grass and leaves. Also on April 18th, you can tune in to KHOI Community Radio 89.1 FM from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. for Earth Day on the airwaves. Hear about sustainability initiatives, volunteer opportunities, and simple ways to help create a greener Ames. City staff will be on throughout the day with interviews, live remotes, and yes, I'll be jumping in there too, so you've been warned. All right, library cards at the ready. We've got two very special guests with us today. Jehan Faisal, the volunteer coordinator at the Ames Public Library, and Dana Eaton, one of the many incredible volunteers who keeps the shelves stocked, the events running, and the community connected. Jehan, welcome to Ames in Focus. Dana, we're so glad to have you here too.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's start with you, Jehan. This is your first time on the pod. Can you share a little bit about your background and how you came to work with the Ames Public Library?
Sure. So when I start talking about the library, I usually talk about when, as a patron, I was raising two small kids here in Ames, and I say that no part of parenting would work for me without the library. So we used the library to build our schedule so that we knew when the bookmobile would be there, and that was a really important part of our week. I definitely hit up that parenting section all the time to find out what I was doing and what we could do or try differently. The holds shelf was really important because I didn't have a lot of time to go upstairs to the adult shelves and browse for myself. So
yeah, with those kids, you don't have the time to browse, right?
Yeah, so being able to just go get something for myself and then have this great space and huge amount of choice and variety in what the kids were interested in. It was a place where we could just say, yes, we can find out more about this. Yes, we can check out that stack of books. Yes, we can go make slime with the librarians. So that was really my introduction to Ames Public Library.
And then, so when did you get started as the volunteer coordinator? How did that come about?
So I've been the volunteer coordinator for about 6 months. Previously, I was on campus at Iowa State at the Sloss House for Women and Gender Equity. And then before I was on campus, I was at the library in the circulation desk, so customer accounts, the welcome desk, the bookmobile. It's an excellent, good slice of the library. My first job at the library was with Project Smiles, where I could go pick up a package of curated books and toys and games and songs and just go do story times with kids at daycare centers and preschools. That was just delightful. That was a really, really great entry into working at the public library.
And then now you're working with volunteers. How is that?
The volunteers are fantastic. So it is a huge gift to know that people are pouring all of this labor and intention and care into expanding what the public library can do. It's really a great role.
Great. Well, speaking of fantastic volunteers, Dana, let's talk about you. What inspired you to begin volunteering at the library, and what kind of things do you do there?
Well, I've lived in Ames on and off for many years, mainly off, but now I'm on. And most recently, I've lived in Ames the past 15 years.
Okay.
And when I retired, I've always used the library. I love to read. I love to take out DVDs. Well, I know it's not fashionable anymore, but I don't do it.
Right?
I stream more now, but earlier I would take out DVDs,
yeah.
Books, music, CDs, and audiobooks that I could put in the car and travel. So when I retired, I was looking for things to do to keep me busy. We're better than the library because I really enjoy it a lot. So I You walk in and say, "Can I help?" And they say, "Well, of course." I mean, anybody can help at the library. They're very welcoming for everybody. So it's really wonderful to work in a place where people want to be there, people like to be there. And I should be careful how I say this, but in today's world, it's nice to be a place where you have a job that you really appreciated. So
Yeah.
I think, although it's volunteer, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we appreciate the library, but it's nice that the library also appreciates its
Yes.
volunteers and it
Yes.
appreciates us.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's great. So Jehan, can you give us a snapshot of what kind of volunteer opportunities and things like that are available at the library as the coordinator?
Yeah, so some folks are here on a weekly basis. They might be reshelving books. They might be getting materials ready for Literary Grounds, the lovely used bookstore. They might be getting items from the hold shelf. So anytime you pick up a book that you've put on hold, volunteers have helped make that possible and ready for you. Volunteers help us with delivering items to homebound patrons, getting items to preschools and daycare centers. There's just a ton of different things that volunteers do. So some folks are there on a regular basis, and then other folks come in for special events like book sale, or they might help with other kind of pop-up events that we do. Book sale is definitely the big thing that comes to mind. And I say that we send up the bat signal. It is all hands on deck. It takes a mighty crew of people to make book sale happen.
Yeah.
That's a place where a lot of people will plug in.
Well, I absolutely definitely want to get into the book sale. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I'm wondering who tends to volunteer. So Dana is retired and has volunteered. Is it mostly retired individuals? Are there students? Are there who is it that tends to volunteer the most?
Yeah, it's a really great mix of the whole community. So there are definitely many volunteers who are retired. There are student volunteers like Iowa State students who will volunteer. In the summers when we see most of our teenage youth volunteers with our youth volunteering program. There are folks literally from every part of the community that volunteer with us.
And so literally the library, we always talk about how the library is for everyone, but I mean, even the volunteer opportunities are for everyone, like the library as a whole is for everyone in any capacity that you want to be in.
Yep.
I think that's great. Well, Dana, I know a volunteer shift is not like a typical work shift, but what would a volunteer shift look like for you? Are there any moments that stick out in your head?
Not really. I started out doing a lot of different things. You just put me wherever you need me, and that's fine. I'm happy to do that. I started out years ago sorting books and putting them on the shelf in the back for the book sale. So it's hundreds of books. You put them in a box. You should put them on the shelves according to categories, whether it's history, literature, foreign language, whatever, mathematics, and just check, make sure they're acceptable. If not, we might have to toss them. And after I did that, then of course I've been involved somewhat in the book sale, and I have been involved. Well, I still do pricing of records. We get records in vinyl, and I look up the prices on those, and we sell those records for the library's benefit. Anywhere from $1 to the best I've been able to come up with has been $400, which is quite a big deal for the library. Mm-hmm. Also disappointing to find out that what I consider the best records are worth $1,
Yeah.
and the others are worth $400. And currently, I'm cleaning books in preparation for the book sale or in preparation for putting out for Literary Grounds.
Okay. So let's get into it. Let's talk about something that's near and dear to every bibliophile's heart, right? The upcoming book sale. So Jehan, can you give us the details? When is it? Where is it? What can folks expect?
Yeah. So if people are interested in volunteering, setup day is on Wednesday, April 8th. And that's that all hands on deck situation.
Yeah. So get there, right?
So send me an email. Let me know if you want to get on that list because we need a ton of help to get it set up. Folks come in that day and they are hauling boxes of books from our storage into the auditorium. Other folks are setting up those books on the tables to make the displays easy for people to navigate. It takes many, many hands to get that ready. So the sale itself starts Thursday, April 9th at 5:30. There's a $2 admission to come in that day.
Okay.
If someone's a member of the Friends, if they've donated at $20 or above in the last year, they can have early entry for free on that day. So they would have early access at 5 o'clock into the sale. Friday and Saturday, it's free admission. Every item in the book sale is $1. Excellent good deals in there, all kinds of amazing things. The community is incredibly generous with the items that they donate to the library. And so you find just astonishing things at the book sale.
And there's just stacks and stacks of books too. So it's not even just one type of book. There are so many different things.
Absolutely. So for really any interest, you will find books. There are also audiobooks on CD. There are all kinds of music CDs, records, and DVDs as well.
Wow.
Yep. And so then the sale ends on Sunday, and we cannot sleep on Sunday. That is the day when everything is free.
Okay.
So the sale will open at noon on Sunday. It is $1 admission to come in and then take all of the things you can. So please bring a wagon.
Yeah.
Please.
Clear out those books, right?
That's right.
So who organizes, I mean, we talked a little bit about it, but who organizes the book sale, and is it all volunteer run, or is it other things too?
Yeah, this is absolutely a volunteer powered event. So it's volunteers are the folks that are doing all of the labor to get things set up. There are volunteers doing the cashiering and managing the displays. There's a volunteer sales manager just to make sure that everything is moving smoothly. This is a volunteer powered event. And
it's organized by the Friends Group?
It is.
So can you tell us a little bit about the Friends Group?
Yeah, so the Friends Foundation is and Dana can speak to this too. So the Friends Foundation are the folks that do all kinds of fundraising through the year for the library, and they are the reason that we are able to do things like summer lunches for kids. If people have ever checked out a Launchpad, the technology for it has this great little bumper so that it's kids are able to have technology that they can access that is not connected to the internet, right? It has lockdown programming. If you have a kid that just wants to play some math games, those Launchpads are an initiative we were able to purchase because of the Friends Foundation. If you've ever come to Pub Fiction, that's another big Friends Foundation event. But 3 times a year, the Friends put on this book sale, and it is a huge labor, very, very successful.
Well, Dana, you mentioned that you volunteer at the book sale. You have in the past as well.
Yes.
So what's it like behind the scenes, or even just browsing the tables?
Well, everybody has a different task, and many people do multiple tasks. In the past, I have put together the books into boxes by category, and then I would roll them out to the tables and help set them up. Other times, I have manned the purchase table, running the cashier thing. Mm-hmm. And currently, for some reason, I was made a manager. I don't know why, but I thought, I don't know anything about this. And it's so well organized.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but it was the easiest of all the jobs. You had to set it up very nicely, and every volunteer knows what to do.
Good.
And so it flows. It runs very well. People are very happy. If you can imagine going into a store where everything is on sale or free, and people are glad to support the library. So if they buy $20 worth of books, they will give you $25. I mean, people are just wonderful, and the volunteers are all in a good mood. So it's a wonderful place to volunteer.
We all love the library, so it definitely works. So Jehan, would you say that the book sale is a good entry point for people who might want to dip their toe into volunteering with the library?
Absolutely. So if someone has a schedule that's too unpredictable for something regular, send me an email. We'd love to get you on the list for book sale. It's a great way to just tap in at this time when we definitely need a lot of hands. And
where do we find your email?
So you can go to the website, to the public library's website, but you could also just email volunteer@amespubliclibrary.org.
Volunteer@amespubliclibrary.org, or we can go to the website, which is amespubliclibrary.org.
That's right.
Okay, so if someone is listening and thinking maybe I should sign up to volunteer, what's the process like to begin volunteering? Is there training involved? All of that sort of thing.
Yeah, so there's training involved for all different roles. Things can be surprisingly simple at first, and so we always provide training when we're asking someone to take on either a new task or expand their tasks. If someone is volunteering at book sale, it's a pretty straightforward process. If someone wants to volunteer with us on a regular basis, there's a little bit more of there are a few more steps. And so let me know what kind of volunteering you're interested in, and we can get that started.
And so what kind of impact do volunteers make? What kind of impact do they make for the staff, for the patrons, for the community at large?
Yeah, so the volunteers magnify every good thing that the library does. We simply could not borrow as many books from other libraries for interlibrary loan without a crew of dedicated volunteers processing all of those. We wouldn't be able to get as many books out to folks who can't come into the library, so that home delivery program is really critical. The volunteers amplify every good thing about the library, and there is no section of the library someone can go to that has not been touched by volunteers.
Yes.
Every single bit of the library is made better by volunteers.
And the library has so many great volunteers that are so important to all the things that are being done there. So since it's... Go ahead,
Let me
Dana.
interrupt. I'd like to
Absolutely.
say also that the library makes it very easy to volunteer. It is very accepting of anyone who wants to volunteer, any age level, any level of interest. We have people that are doing a multitude of things that perhaps, they couldn't do anywhere else, and the library just loves it, and they're very happy with the library too. Very
That's
accepting.
awesome.
Yeah.
So definitely it's an accepting place for volunteers, but also those volunteers are what help make it that accepting place, that amplify what our library already is. So because the book sale is kind of that all hands on deck, getting things set up as well as running it, can you give us those dates again?
Yeah, so setup is Wednesday, April 8th. The sale runs Thursday, April 9th through Sunday, the 12th. The 12th is another day when we need a lot of hands to do that cleanup, because it is a quick cleanup so that auditorium can be ready for more programs for the library the next day.
And people that might be interested in volunteering for the book sale or just in general can email you at volunteers@amespubliclibrary.org.
Volunteer, singular.
Volunteer, because you're one
Volunteer.
person. So volunteer
at
amespubliclibrary.org, or you can check it out on the website. There's a volunteer tab under Get Involved, I believe. Right. Okay. All right, so let's finish this off with some rapid fire questions. What do you think? Jehan, what is your favorite section of the library to get lost in?
So I love the YA section, the young adult section. I love seeing the new young adult books. Fantastic writing happening over there.
Okay. Dana, is there a book that you would read every time you get a chance?
No.
No.
No, I'm
All
sorry.
Of them?
No, I'm very eclectic, and I feel embarrassed to say the things that I read, I enjoy them, but I enjoy certain authors, and they're very eclectic. I like David Sedaris. I like Dickens. Somebody gave me a full set of all his works. I'm trying to work through every book. I like it. Evil and Woe, and I like a lot of junkie novels too. So I'll read anything. Gabriel Garcia Marquez is great.
So a book that you'd read every time you get a chance is all of them?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. No, I'll take that answer. And Jehan, what's one thing that people don't realize about volunteering at the library?
So I hope they do realize this. It's actually a lovely community, and it is a great way if you are feeling overwhelmed or isolated, if times feel very hard, plugging in at the library and working so that we can all library together is an excellent, good community, and it's definitely good for all of us.
I think that's great, and I do think that shows. Even from Dana's testimony, even just here on this podcast, we know that is part of what volunteering at the library does, and so I do think that's great, and not something that people don't realize, but let's definitely highlight it. I'm for that. Jehan, Dana, thank you very much for the work you do and for sharing your time with us today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, if you're curious about volunteering at the library, or you just want to load up on books for $1, head to the amespubliclibrary.org. You'll find details on the volunteer program, the book sale dates, and more. Thanks for listening. Be curious, stay kind, and don't forget, there's no such thing as too many library tote bags. We'll see you next time on Ames in Focus.
Ames in Focus is a City of Ames podcast.